Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Film Studies, Media Studies and Creative Media Production live event. The session will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, you will notice as you have accessed Teams, either on a PC or Mac or on a phone and tablet, that you can ask a question by clicking on Ask Question. At the bottom right, you will find the logo for Ask a Question. I want to encourage as many of you as possible to ask as many questions as possible that you have about the college and about the course as we go. We will answer those questions at the end of the presentation. So here is a short 15-minute video for you to watch.
Action. Hi there, I'm Lewis Kellett. I joined Wilberforce College to teach film and media in January 2021. I've always been passionate about cinema and the wider media from a young age, so it's a really good opportunity this for me to pass on my passion to other students. For my undergraduate degree, I studied at York St John University. I did my master's there as well, and I'm currently completing a fully funded PhD in British cinema at Sheffield Hallam University. Past teaching experiences include primary school, colleges, and of course university level as well. However, outside teaching, I am also a writer, a researcher, a public speaker, and a podcast host. My podcast, called Missus at the Movies, is about me and my wife watching films together and then talking about them, and that can be from the new releases at the cinema or classic old films as well. My writing achievements include a book review for the Journal of British Cinema and Television and numerous conference papers which are presented to a room full of academics. Other public speaking achievements as well have been a panel host for the new Ken Loach Sorry We Missed You film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Joel Ryan McDermott and I am an artist, filmmaker, creative director and teacher here at Wilberforce Sixth Form College. I have over 16 years experience teaching in both the North and London, in colleges, universities and art schools. Previously, I was academic leader at Croydon School of Art for the FE department there, and I was the head of creative industries at Scarborough School of Art. I received my Bachelor of Arts degree from the University of Lincoln. I did my teacher training at London Metropolitan University, and I got my master's degree from Leeds Arts University. My past learners have gone on to secure places at the best universities, both nationally and internationally. They have received commendations, awards and placements on different projects and industry projects in the creative industries. As a creative director, I've worked in a number of projects across the country, including at Latitude Festival and the V&A Museum. My own work is centred around the role of community in British culture. My recent film, Calling for Change, received 4 official selections at international film festivals, won Best Music Video at the Sea and Beach Film Festival in Santa Pola, Spain, got a Network Round finalist at the Manchester Liftoff Film Festival, got a runner-up for Best Score at London Rocks International Film Festival, and got an Excellence Award at the LGBTQ+ Unboarded International Film Festival in the USA. I'm committed to working with students to achieve their own lifelong career goals, to get them into the best universities across the country, and to secure exciting jobs in the creative industries. Roll 3, scene 3, take 175.
So film studies, it's fairly similar to the basics of English literature. but we spend time looking at individuals' films and discussing themes, characters, and how the films were made, how they're composed. It is an academic subject, that requires a significant amount of writing and lots of discussion. So students who take this course have plenty of opportunities to field their own opinions and values and beliefs, and what they draw from the film, might not necessarily be what I draw from the film or what the person sitting next to them. And that's the beauty of film studies. We get to talk about all these different ideas and themes. The course is split into 3 sections. So component 1, 2 and 3. Component 1 is worth 35% of the qualification and it's assessed by exam, as is component 2. And component 3 is a coursework unit, which is worth 30% of the qualification, and that is to do with screenwriting, which I'll get to shortly. So component 1 has 3 sections. You look at Hollywood cinema, which is classic Hollywood cinema, modern Hollywood cinema, and British cinema. So we look at the films like Casablanca, Do the Right Thing, Frances Ha, Carol, This Is England, and Fish Tank, those types of films, while exploring other films, not just the set ones, and we'll read around the context of them as well. In component 2, we journey around the world. So while we look at traditional cinema in component 1, component 2, we look at various different types of cinema. So we journey throughout the world. So we look at Brazilian cinema, Spanish cinema. We look at documentary, experimental cinema, and silent cinema as well. So we look at City of God, Pan's Labyrinth, Pulp Fiction, some Buster Keaton classics, and in some, rockumentaries, the film about Amy Winehouse. And then in your component 3, you are writing, you script write and you storyboard, and you look at the mechanics and the basic pre-production techniques when putting a film together. It is a lot different from our other courses, film studies, in the sense that, as I said at the start, it's like English literature. You are given a text and you are expected to inform a mature and intelligent discussion around it. It's for students who have an appreciation of film and cinema, who want to know more about it, who want to explore, ideas that they've formed about cinema as well. It's not as practical as, you would have on the Media BTEC, the creative media production, but it's for those who really enjoy getting to grips with film and what it's about.
In media, we study a range of topics such as representation, audience, technology, and ownership. We look at various media products such as television shows, films, print media, and of course, online material, observing the messages, how they were put together, and what response do the creators want from the product. It's quite an academic subject that requires significant writing and close attention to detail, but it is incredibly interesting looking at this aspect of society that is relatively new. Component 1 and Component 2 are 35% of the qualification, and Component 3 is coursework based, which is the remaining 30% of the qualification. Component 1 is concerned with the basic elements associated with media studies, such as the media language, representation, audiences and industries. It looks at music videos, advertisements and video games. Component 2 is a more forensic study looking at more specifics to do with television, magazines and the internet. The coursework component of media studies is 30%, it's non-exam, it's an assessment cross-media study. In previous years, students have made a film poster, a teaser poster and film website for a film of their choice. So why study media? Well, it helps you understand media and technology and how media influences opinion. Media A-level always develops your critical thinking skills and ability to decode the visual world around you.
Hi, my name is Baron Crossland. I teach on the Level 2 Digital Creative Media Production course. This is a 1 year, 7-unit course which has 2 elements which are examined and the rest are all assignment based. Unit 1, which is one of the exam units, looks at the different types of media production, the platforms it can be assessed on, and the elements involved within the media production world. Moving on, you go to Unit 2, which is planning and pitching. This is where you focus on developing a simple embryotic idea from the start right to its conclusion to potential stakeholders to get their input. Unit 3 is an investigation on how and why film and videos work, looking at how the camera work is key to the language of this visual communication. And the final element is the filming and editing of a small movie trailer. Unit 4 is a digital audio production. This is looking at the application of sound and audio media products. Further research is conducted into different characteristics of recording audio in different environments, along with investigation into the actual technology available before embarking onto a project itself. Media 8 is looking at the media industry in context. This is another exam unit. This looks at how today's broad and diverse media industry is tiered, looks at how companies are structured and how they have to work within the parameters and how and why things are done within their typical companies. Unit 9 is digital editing. This unit you investigate the history of film editing from its early days of Georges Méliès and the Lumiere brothers right away to the current techniques of CGI and all the editing techniques that goes along with that. And in there you'll be able to create a short, either trailer sequence or movie or music film. The final one is digital graphics production, where you investigate the theory behind the creation of graphics using media. Using that knowledge of how mood and atmosphere is used to convey meaning, you'll produce your own digital graphics for a particular project.
Creative media production is for students who are wanting a more hands-on, engaged, practical experience with the media. We look at things from camera work to sound editing, storyboarding, and screenwriting as well. Other than the practical side of stuff, you'll gain an understanding of media and research techniques, looking at the elements of pre-production and planning a practical element to a project, completing all the necessary paperwork that's needed at industry level. You'll find out about production management, pre-production techniques and video technology. You'll also be looking at specialist units such as shooting a single camera drama, video editing and animation production as well. In year 1, you'll be looking at various different aspects of media production. Unit 1 will be media representations, looking at how things are represented in the media, looking at stereotypes, gender, those types of things, and that's an exam assessed unit. Unit 4, you'll look at pre-production and you'll create a portfolio. Unit 6, you'll develop a media campaign and create all the elements needed to produce a successful media campaign. Unit 8, you'll respond to a commission set externally by the exam board. Unit 10, you'll look at film production, fiction, creating your own short film. And Unit 16 is factual production, documentary filmmaking.
So, as the first year builds a set of technical skills and contextual understanding about creative media production, the second year builds on this, further setting the standards really for the creative media production industry. One of the main goals of the second year is to prepare you for industry work and university. And at that level, you'll be expected to work collaboratively as a positive team member, be able to work under your own steam, to plan your own projects and execute them, be able to develop your communication skills and how you interact with people from a range of backgrounds and a range of cultures. The units for Year 2 are as follows. Unit 2, working in the creative media industry. Unit 3, digital media skills. Unit 19, script writing. Unit 20, single camera techniques. Unit 24, Sound Editing, and Unit 22, Interview Techniques. Alongside learners engaging with and completing all the essential and mandatory units, there will be many opportunities for you to engage in external live projects, collaborative projects with others in the group and further afield, and for you to write your own research projects in preparation for university study. If you are interested in working in one of the biggest industries in the UK and excited about making films, media products, TV and other, then creative media production is probably the course for you. If you would like to get in touch with Lewis or myself, please contact us via our email addresses at the bottom of the screen.
Right, fantastic. So that was our course video. I hope you got all your necessary information from there. And, you know, if you have any other questions, there'll be an opportunity for us to answer those momentarily. Just go through these last slides just to keep you in the loop about certain things. So key dates that you might want to consider when you are looking to apply and on your journey to Wilberforce. We have been holding interviews between January and May and virtual events, so you've got a chance to join those. In June, we've got welcome days where we welcome you to our site and you can meet your teachers and you can do all the activities, you know, some taster activities. August is your GCSE results day, and obviously you'll be in contact with the college and you'll gain your place, you'll secure your place here at Wilberforce. And then September is your enrolment and it'll be here before you know it. If you are looking for any other live videos, you go straight to our website. You'll find all the live videos there. You go to choose your course, and you'll be able, if you're interested in studying A-levels, there's a video for you to watch. Interested in studying for a BTEC, there's a video for you to watch there as well to find out more about those qualifications. And then you can watch a special course overview video for all of the subjects below. There's also the Campus 360 tour on there and loads of other interactive elements to the website which help, which brings Wilberforce to you in your own home. If you haven't yet applied and you are thinking, I want to apply, you can do that at the website. So just visit the college website and there'll be a big apply now button in the top right hand corner, and it could not be simpler. And once you've applied, we'll contact you to arrange an interview as soon as possible. So have we got any questions? We can see anyone in the box below there, Joel.
Yes, I can. We've just received a couple of questions through from a number of students. I'm just going to get those up in 2 seconds. Okay, first question comes through from John, and he asks, do the courses get full up quickly? Okay, in response to that, John, we do get an influx of students that happens gradually through the year for a range of courses here at Wilberforce. Some students are early applicants, they're very keen, they know what they want to study, and they apply very quickly. Some of them have already elected to do A-levels, they want that academic route, and some have already elected to do a vocational course like creative media production. A lot of it is dependent on the grades that they get. So what we do is we hold provisional places as soon as we've interviewed you or interviewed those students. And we do have an intake where we usually see, or last year we saw, for example, about 20 learners or thereabouts on our creative media production year 1 intake. Our computer suites, for example, have 20 computers in them, so that's a kind of classroom size. So yeah, we've had some successful recruitment numbers, That shouldn't put you off applying. And we would encourage all students to apply as soon as possible, just to secure your place as early in the year as possible. If you're a late application, we're still encouraging you though. So, we might have a couple of spaces spare on that class intake closer to the end of the year, and even sometimes summer. We sometimes get some learners changing their mind late. So always put that application form in, even if it's late. But I encourage you to put it in earlier, so that you can relax over the summer and enjoy your break, knowing you've got a place.
Right.
Lewis, have you received any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one from Sophie. She's asked, does she and anyone else who started the course have to complete any work before September? Now, I believe we set some independent work for them to get a jump on some of the course content that happens in September. So for media, for instance, last year, between applying and starting in September, the applicants and the students who secured their place were given a task where they had to pick a film poster and they had to write about it. I think, looking at the colour, the actors, the positioning, the marketing side of things, and any representations as well. So how are women presented, how are men presented, those types of things. So there will be a little bit of work, but nothing that requires a lot of your time and resources, but just something that gives you a flavour of what you are going to be experiencing on a weekly basis at the college come September.
Absolutely, and it's worth saying as well that we will be available to, in the run up to summer, we'll be available to have conversations with you if you're a pending student awaiting grades and you want to know anything else or have any additional feedback on the kind of work that you're completing for us in advance of starting the course. We'll be free and available to have those discussions with you. So really, the kind of keeping warm period from you applying, getting a place, and starting in September is all about getting you into the mode of being a college student and thinking like a college student and behaving like a college student. And one thing that we encourage across the board at college level is research. And like Lewis said, research analysis. So looking at the world around you, writing about it, making notes on it, starting your own little sketchbook or research folder or PowerPoint presentation, so that when you come in September, you've got that document already, and we can refer to that, and we can use that to help you with your projects. I've just got another question through from Jane, and Jane has asked, my grades are only just 4s. So I think Jane, it appears that Jane's probably finished school last year. So she's concerned about being able to get a course or getting on this course. Jane hasn't written which course, but if for example, Jane, you're interested in A-levels, the requirement for A-levels is high 5s or middle 5s. Is that right, Lewis?
Yeah, so the idea is to get 5 qualifications range between 9 and 4. But for A-levels, we recommend it should be, you should have at least a 5 in your English as your A-levels. And I mean, this addresses another question in the chat as well, asking about differences between BTEC and A-levels. A-levels are generally more an academic subject, which requires a lot of English-based skills in terms of your writing and sort of procedural work, and high level, critical thinking, high levels of critical thinking, whereas your BTECs are a bit more practical and hands-on and rely on teamwork and collaboration and all those other things. So 4s, I'd say are fine for BTEC, although it might be better doing the level 2 creative media course and getting a year's groundwork in before you either move up to level 3 BTEC, the creative media production, or you go on to A levels, just so that you've got a nice buffer year. You're not worrying too much about how hard the work is going to be, and that you're going to get bogged down with deadlines, and you're going to find it too challenging. Of course, we like a challenge, but we don't want you to be drowning rather than sort of swimming. So it might be better to do a level 2 year, just to get into grips with the college environment, how college works, and then after you've done that year, you can do another 2 years on the level 3 course, ready for the next stage in your career goals.
Definitely. I think another thing that's definitely worth mentioning there is part of your application form will include your grades, so make sure that you put the accurate grades on there for GCSE. When me and Lewis interview you, we'll have a conversation and ask you a number of questions, which will help us place you in the right context. You might have aspirations to go on to university, and you might want to do A levels. Your grades may stop you at this stage, but some of our students, for example, do a BTEC course and one A level alongside, and that's dependent upon the strength of their application form, the strength of their grades, but also the interview process. We need to be confident, and this is the most important point, that you are going to achieve your qualifications, that you are confident and have the right necessary skills to be successful on the right qualification. So where we have these boundaries between 4s and 5s, I think it's important to work out what you want long term, have an interview with us, and we will give you some specific guidance in interview. Jane hasn't sent an additional question through, so one thing that I can't see there, Jane, is whether or not you have 4s and that includes English. If it doesn't include English, then of course, like Lewis is saying, you'd struggle with the A levels because of the written component. If that includes English, then it might just be too low, but it doesn't mean you can't get a fantastic experience from one of the BTEC courses, maybe having an additional 1 A level as part of your program of study. So each student's kind of judged on individual profile. Yeah, I think that's
Right.
Get the application form in is what I'd advise. Get the application form in, folks, and we'll speak to you on an individual level.
So typical week. So a question from James there. He said, "What would I be doing in a week if I did BTEC?" So BTEC, you have quite a lot of contact hours. Is it about 9 hours or so, Joel? I think, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, it's about 9 a week. Yeah,
and so that can be split up. That's obviously split up over the week. But it'd be more than 9 hours.
I'll just double check.
Sure, we've got that one right.
So we've currently got the first year. Is well, I teach this first year 7.5 hours.
Yeah, and I've got the same. So looking at about 15 hours a week.
15 hours for year 1, and I teach the second year 6 hours.
And I've got them a lot more. So yeah, you usually have Joel and I about 3 times a week, on average, if not more. If you're A level, I've got you for 4.5 hours a week. So you'd have me for 4.5 hours, then you'd have your other tutor for 4.5 hours, and your other one should take 3 A levels. And they usually split up quite well, and they're usually in single blocks as well. An hour, and they're 1.5 hour sessions. And obviously you're required to do independent study outside of lesson as well. And that comes in the form of assessment and homework and other types of assignments as well. We also conduct, we do enrichment as well, which we offer loads of different sessions, such as cult cinema I know we have Dungeons and Dragons run as well, and those are sort of elective enrichment sessions that are also run as a way to round out your college experience. But then that's sort of what a typical week sort of looks like. You'd have both of us, and you would study different units with us as well. So you wouldn't study one unit at a time. You might study, if it would be tech, for instance. That's what I'm referring to. So if you did BTEC Creative Media Production Level 3, you might do Unit 1 representation with me, but you'll be doing Unit 10 filmmaking with Joel. So you'd have two sort of balance. You have to balance your workload there, and that's just something that we expect you guys do anyway as part of the college mindset as you come aboard. Have we got another question in the chat there, Joel?
Just go in there. My chat box keeps minimalizing. Okay, yes. We've got a question from Alan, and Alan is asking, can you do any trips? Can you do any trips and visits on this course? Or can we do trips and visits? Maybe Alan's saying because of COVID, can we? And at the moment, with the restrictions as they are, the straight answer is no. But moving out of lockdown, our hope is that we can go back to our normal format. And the answer then is yes, absolutely. Both Lewis and I are looking to plan a set of trips and visits to see industry professionals, exhibitions, mini film festivals, maybe conferences and other. Are there any other trips that you'd like to plan into the course, Lewis, when thinking about creative media production or A level?
I'm not too sure really. I think anything like that's in within its limits and that's relevant. So like Joel said, it can be anything to do with like academic subjects such as conferences and things like or industry and industry professionals. So we might look at maybe Media City in Manchester, or the Media Museum in Bradford, or going to a trip to university as a way to look at how media is run in a undergraduate sort of level. So that'd be the type of trips and things that we'd be looking at doing, if and when we return back to normality. I've just got another question here from Jade. She has asked how. She said she's worried about COVID and the time that she's missed at high school, and how we would help her with those sort of skills that might not be as strong if they had a full year in school. And I can say to that, Jade, that we have lots of study support professionals on site that can support your learning. Also Joel and I would we conduct regular one-to-ones and make sure that not only is all the class needs been met, but we're also making sure that every individual person has tailored feedback and targets so they can achieve the best that they can. And another thing to note is as well, Jade, that everyone is in the same boat, unfortunately, aren't they? So it's not just I'm pretty sure there's not just yourself who has that worry as well. Everyone will be also having that worry, and we'll be putting loads of things college-wide in place to make sure that you are getting the best sort of education as possible. Have you got any other questions there, Joel, in the box, or I think is that it? Oh, you're muted, Joel. Your sound's not coming through.
Sorry, I did mute there. Technology. No, there aren't any other questions coming through. From my experience, I know that Parents can be concerned with a kind of career in creative media production or an industry like film, television, media. I do think it's worth pointing out for the purposes of our discussion today that as an industry, as a whole, as an industry, the creative industries contributes a massive amount to GDP, to the economy. The statistics for that, I can read out a couple of statistics. So for the UK, creative industries jobs in 2019, in total, for just 2019, 2.1 million jobs nationwide, 61,000 new jobs in creative industries in 2019, and a 2.7 times jobs growth of UK average each year. In Yorkshire, of all of those jobs nationwide, there are 5.8% of those jobs in the Yorkshire district area and 4.4% in the Lincolnshire area, so just north and south of the Humber there. If your children or you as individual students want to go on and live in different parts of the country, London is a highly competitive place to work in the creative industries, with 33% of the jobs there. And just so you know as well, in terms of the difference between employment and self-employed in creative industries, 33% of people working in creative industries are self-employed. So some people worry about the amount of freelance work or entrepreneurial, self-employed work that creative industries people have to do to make ends meet. Well, it only accounts for, even though it's a large proportion of people, but 33% of people in creative industries are self-employed, whereas 67% of people are employed by either private or public sector. So that's just a bit of a set of healthy statistics there about creative industries as a whole. Now, creative media production, there's a range of jobs in creative media production, and they include researcher, writer, journalist, social media, advertising and marketing, working in web content, broadcasting, blogging, the TV and film industry as a whole, including directing, producing, editing and sound. So there's a range of jobs that you could get into if you were interested in a career in that industry. And the course Creative Media Production prepares you for that. It prepares you for that way of working, that industry, but it also prepares you, and we will do this with all students, A-level and our BTEC students, we prepare you for university progression to go on to study at level 4, 5 and 6, to get a Bachelor of Science degree or Bachelor of Arts degree, technical degree in shorthand, or a creative degree in any one of those subjects. So there are many opportunities nationwide, and I just wanted to say at the end there, although we didn't get a question on that, it's something that's come up in the past in my experience, talking about what's out there and what's available. Anything else you can think of, Lewis, before we sign off? Thank you for listening to us. If you've
No, I can't think of anything else. Just that, to study this, you obviously got to be interested in it, come with a keen sense of interrogation and questioning. Make sure that you have a great attitude. We like to think we work to industry standard with our equipment and our knowledge and our attitude. So we, expect you guys to arrive at college with that industry head on as well, willing to learn and take in any knowledge that we throw at you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. And if you need any more questions or anything, if you think of anything and you sat on the sofa later on and you think, oh, we should have asked that, get in touch with the college, they'll pass it on to us, or our emails will also be on the site as well, no doubt.
Brilliant.
Okay, fantastic.
Thanks, Louis. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.